All right, we're on part 2 of the spring major, and Monday's what was going to be a practice round. But like looking at where we're at as far as the practice round and what I want to achieve as far as score goes, we've got a par 4 and a par 5 coming up. And I'd really like to end this off with Eagle and an Albie shot. And so if I could just go eagle, that's minus 15. I mean, that's a pretty solid round. I think minus 30 is what my goal is. My goal on my sheet says minus 30 plus. So I think if I can put myself in minus 30 plus, I've gave myself an opportunity for something. I have no idea what it is, but I put myself in the hunt depending on bracket. So you're going to be in some brackets where you're going to see somebody shoot a 36, and you're going to be in some brackets where you're going to see somebody shoot a 28 and win. So it's going to be one of those types of tournaments. In the Dreaded Dunes, we could get away with a minus 30, and it wasn't a guarantee, but it was a pretty solid shot at a win. But I think in this tournament, it's going to be a little bit tougher because people have had a little bit more time now that we've played it in a tournament to work these holes out. And since this tournament came out the last time, we've had the club card trading. A lot of clubs got buffed, and then people were able to start using their extra club cards to get some of their clubs up in level, and it's changed how we can play some of these holes. So I think the scores are going to be a little bit, you're going to have to shoot a little bit better. I don't think that a 28 is necessarily going to get you a banner like it would have in the Dreaded Dunes. I think you're going to have to shoot a little bit better than that, but it's going to depend on bracket. We're still looking at the minus 24. There are no give-me's here, but there are a couple of the par 4s that I think that, you know, we have to pick. We've got to pick them up like almost every other time. So the minimum score really is probably like 13. So you're starting off with a base 26, and that's having to pick. That's guaranteed. You know, that's picking one of those par 4s up. So it's going to be a pretty tight tournament. But I think if you can come in with a minus 14 or better as a tiebreaker in your qualifying round, that's going to be pretty good. And it's been pretty good so far today. I came in with the intent to practice, but I had notes from the Dreaded Dunes, so I had kind of a little bit of a head start. And this hole right here. So in the last tournament with an extra mile 8, I could get out into this. I could get out into this range right here, where I could get up here, and I had it was a wedge shot coming in. You can get yourself out into this area right here fairly easily and have a short iron coming in. But with the extra mile 9, I'm curious. We got this hole one time during the practice round, and I was pretty far up there. Had a nice chip to get in, but there is no gimmies. It's still gonna be, you know, one of those shots that you've got to execute. So on my notes, I have extra mile power 5, max OP, max topspin. I'm using a rapier for my wedge. So I've got my usual suspects. I'm using a power 5 ball. Now the question is, which power 5 ball do I need? Do I need one with, I believe that I'm using the wind. So the deal is that I'm going to bring one of these rose balls, which gives me a little bit of wind resistance for the second shot, but it shouldn't kill me on the drive. And I have just enough of them to play this. And I don't think that side spin is as big a factor, so we'll see. If side spin's not a factor, I'm going to switch to the present ball because I have some of those. And if side spin is a factor, that's another choice right there. Side spin is a factor. Let me see. What other power 5 balls do I have here? That's power 4. I know I have some other power 5. I think I have a power 5 here that's 3 side spin. I don't ever, I hardly ever look at my ball, at the ball collection that I have for the Power Fives. So let me look here. There's the auto ball, but I don't have very many of those. That's a one side spin. I guess maybe that's it. There's a 4. I definitely want to use a 5. That's two side spin, but with one win. And I really think the rose ball is the way to go. So let me look at that bag one more time. All right. For me, the big thing in all of these tournaments is par fours. So, like, I want to get these par fours down so that we can try and get eagles on the par fours, because the par fours, in my opinion, are where we make our money. And if you can pick up hole in ones, those are winning shots. So the par fours are what you do to get yourself into position. And if you can sink a par 3, or you can get an Albie, that's the shot that's going to win you the tournament. Start out here and put a little bit of curl on it so that I can get through that gap. I'm going to use that wind. 3, 4. Go right out. So there. That's where I'd like to be. 3, 4. Take that out. I'm going to push it back in. Let's see if I can get this up there. Hit it one ring great to the left, maybe 2. Let's see if that's too much on the. Ooh, that was super close there. I'm gonna have to take that wind out. I'm gonna have to take that wind out of play, because that was way too close. It carried way far down into that hole. Either that, or I'm gonna have to do like a 20 or 30% adjustment, and then even then, if you push the power back into it, you're gonna have the same problem. So it's take the wind out, or I'm going to have to set myself up further on the right-hand side and possibly just try and lay myself up out into the spot over here on the left. I have to work on where my landing zone is there. That particular spot right there, I was further to the left than where I was hitting it. I was trying to get a little greedy, and I came damn close to hitting the sand back there, and that would have been an epic fail. So let's see where I'm at in my club. There's max. There's mid. Okay, so I'm in the 8 per ring range. Maybe the 6 per ring range. It's a lot of backspin. So I'm gonna count this as 6 per ring. So there's 3. There's 4. Try and hit it perfect. Hit it great to the left. About a ring. And that was about a ring. So that was about right on my wind adjustment. I know if you do if you're working off paper numbers and you're doing, I posted a video. If you look at my playlist for the AAA strategies and guides, there's a video that I shot in there on rough irons and sand wedges, on how because sand wedges and rough irons are a different beast. The accuracy on them, they're kind of like wedges. Wedges have a different accuracy too. That's why when you're up close, accuracy is not as big a deal, because the closer you get, the more accurate those clubs are, and the accuracy is different. There isn't, with most clubs, we think of it as max, mid, and min, but with rough irons and sand wedges, there's a lot because they can hit, instead of just hitting a range, like if you look at long irons hit from, the biggest long iron out there is a Goliath that hits at 135, and whatever the biggest short iron is, which is probably around 100, somewhere in that neighborhood. So that means that your range with your Goliath is between 135 and 100. So if you're at max, it's at 135. If you're at minimum, it's around 100. If you're at mid, it's 117. And so you could work those numbers because it's a very short range. But if you've got a Nirvana, it hits 135. And that's from 0 to 135. And your sand wedge hits, my Spitfire hits from 0 to 120. So your max would be 120, your mid would be 60, and your minimum would be 0. So if you're only thinking of 3 different numbers, there's a lot more than 3 different numbers when you're using rough irons and sand wedges. So if you watch that video, it'll give you an idea of kind of like my thought process on how to adjust for those if you're using paper numbers. Because I see a lot of people play their rough iron and sand wedges wrong, in my opinion, when they're playing at like minimum, or not, let's just say minimum, but like mid distance or closer, where they're playing the same numbers. And most people just kind of give up, they just like slap it up there. And it's like, hey, I'm in my rough iron, and it's like, who knows what's going to happen. And they just pop it up there, and it's not, they don't really go for it. And the thing is that you can really go for it with those. I'm having the same exact issue on this hole that I had when this was in the Dreaded Dunes. So let's look at our options. Option number 1 is you can lay up out here, and you can bring a sniper. So if you're in your wood range from out here, you can bring a sniper, and you can do a rough bump right here, and you can go straight out the cup, and it's an awesome shot, no doubt about it. If you can get on this pad, you're in your long iron, and you could still, if you brought a Goliath, you could still use that rough bump, because it's a hell of a long ways from this rough to the cup. You're going to need a club with lots of topspin. And this, if you got lower developed stuff, this getting out here and bringing a horizon might not be a bad deal. Although the horizon is not very accurate, this rough bump is, you've got plenty of room on the left or the right. So if you missed it, you could still do it. But this is a viable option. Is just like laying it up out here. Not a big deal, not hard to do. With a Titan, I think you can get out here with an extra mile as far as your red line. I'm trying to actually get over to this side. And the deal is with an extra mile and a Titan, your first bounce is right here if you're doing this shot, and your second bounce, it shows you when you're doing your ball guide that it's like right here, but it actually carries down in here a little bit further, and it'll clip this rough. And if it clips that rough, you'll get caught up in it. If you can bounce right here, it may come down on the bottom and clip the rough, and then you'll just bleed out into the fairway. So it's getting these bounces right so that you can bounce off of this to get down to there. And it just seems like with a Kingmaker or a Titan, I keep ending up clipping the rough up at the top. So I'm still working on this hole. I'm still working to see how I want to play it, because I could bring a big power ball, and I think I did. Like, I brought a power 5 ball. And I was trying to get my second bounce like way down into this area so that I would just bleed out into it. I really want to get my second bounce here so that I can see how far forward I can go. Like, can I actually get down to the end, or do I just bleed off into the sand? Or I could bring a Katana, because a Titan I keep seeming to hit, clipping the rough up here at the top. And with a Katana, it's going to put my red line a little bit further back, and I might not clip that. I might actually hit the fairway. But with a Katana, I might not have the distance to get over here. So, I mean, it's like a catch-22. This is why I would normally use this round as a practice round, because this is a hole right here that we have a serious Albie shot on, if we can get it right. I definitely want to bring my accurate clubs. I can pretty much play with my number 1 bag on almost every hole except for one. What do I want to bring here? I don't need a lot of side spin, I don't think. I might need some side spin coming up to the cup. But depending on where I'm at, which one of those balls that I look at that had 3 wind? I think it was an Origin ball. No, it wasn't. That was a power 4 ball. It's power 3, Kingmaker X. I'm not using that. Autumn ball, I only have 2 of. Vintage or power 3s, low wind. The Rock, power 5, 3 side spin, 1 wind resistance. I don't need that. And I'm using that rose ball on that one hole, so I have to save them. I can't use them. They're out of play. That ball right there might work. And I have enough. Let's take that. Let's try it. Let's see what happens down there. If I don't like that, I'm going to switch to a katana. If I don't like the look of it. Let me open up a slot. I have hit some albies on this, but I think I've hit some albies from the fairway, but I know that I've hit albies from the rough here. I've hit a couple albies from the rough. But I was way on the other side. I was in like that 8 per ring range. I was playing Dunner the other day, and we got on this hole, and I ended up in the rough. I think we were both in the rough down there. We caught this hole several times, and we tried several different things on it, but I was getting a lot of lag, so I was ending up in the rough. I was having a hard time with my drives. Right. So if I do max overpower, I mean, it's showing me like down there. May not have to do. I hate to do. I might maybe a 4 power ball might actually be better. I'm gonna take the wind out. Let's see what happens. Hit it 1 ring great to the left. 1 ring great to the left. That'll end me up if it bleeds through. If it actually makes it over to the other side, it'll bleed me through into the rough or the sand. So I don't have to put. Man, that was close. Maybe a little less topspin than what I put on there, but I probably would have clipped the rough on the back side. When I made it over to the other side, I just barely made it over to the other side. I'll have to go back and watch that video, and I'm going to be really critical of where my bounces were at. Because the only other way to do that without having to take anything on it is to try and bleed it up in this side right here to the right, because there's more fairway. So that means you got to come at it a little bit more from the left and then bring it back to the right. I'm exploring my options on this hole for sure. I don't mind taking that. I think when the hole first came out, my first way of going at it was going at it from, and I am way deep in my club. There's max way the hell out there. So there's mid, and I mean, I am way into it. I'm actually going to topspin this, maybe. The wind's kind of going with me. I hit it great to the right. And it went great to the right. I had my adjustment right. If you're gonna run topspin out on your rough iron like that, you can't do that stuff on those big long greens. You can't do it like a Nirvana where you can do it with impunity on the green. If you're on the green, you have to change surfaces. So I was on the fairway, and I also know that when you're on the fairway here, it comes in and then it digs down, it goes down a hill, and it wants to dig in a little bit as it goes down the hill, so you can get away with running that topspin on there. That was just a matter of trying to catch that perfect. You catch that perfect and it goes in the hole. That's why I say I've hit several from the rough albies here, because you can see right here how it comes down. You're coming down the backside of this hill right here, and it slows the ball down as it slides down that fairway area. All right, that was not the not exactly what I was looking for. I missed that eagle on hole number 8. That's the only hole that I really feel like I missed the shot on. I'm still working on hole number 9, and I want to try and give myself, I don't actually mind taking those rough shots. If I could hit them perfect, I feel like it's in the cup. But your needle's going faster, so they are a little bit tougher to hit perfect. But I'm not afraid of taking that rough shot. But it would be much better if I was in the fairway and I was using my Grizzly or my short iron, because that down there where I was at was short iron range. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, that was not the 15 I was looking for. I shot a 28 in the Dreaded Dunes, and I came in second, or I came in third, and the winner got a 30, and I think it was a 28, 29, 30. But I really feel like in this tournament you're going to have to shoot a 29 or better, or excuse me, a 30 or better. And the only difference there was hole number 8. Hole number 8 was the 1. So right there, somebody coming up with a 15, that is the score. I think hole number 8 is the key, and trying to pick something else up and giving yourself opportunities. I may have to, if you watch the last video, as much as I talk about hole number 6, doing the layup shot right there, I may, if I don't feel like I'm getting the opportunities I need, I really want to stick with the layup shot on hole number 6. And I like my odds on these par 3s with these rough bumps, especially the first par 3 and the last par 3. So I think my chances on them, hole number 2 and hole number 7, I think on those 2 holes, we have serious looks. That middle par 3 with the long rough bump using the Goliath, I'm going to have to work out the topspin to make sure it looked like the topspin was not lying. Even though the ball guide's not as good as some of the other clubs that you would pull out of the bag, it looked like you could put a lot of topspin on there. So I'll have to do a little bit of research on that hole. I'm not too disappointed with that. I came in with the intent to practice today, but I was just feeling good on the holes. This will give me an opportunity. I'll play tonight and practice tonight with my auto account, and then I will practice tomorrow with my auto account, and I'll probably qualify it on Wednesday. So that'll give me some more time to practice, and we'll see how it goes. And I'm going to play my 99 account with my lower level clubs, because I don't have any great balls in it. So the deal there is that it's going to be a totally different deal, because the biggest thing I'm going to be able to pull out of the bag is going to be a Titan. And I don't have the club selection that I have here. So on some of those holes, I'm going to have to make a separate set of notes for it, just so that I can get that stuff down. All right. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel. Channel's doing great. I appreciate all of the people that watch the channel. You guys and gals have been absolutely fantastic. The channel's got, we are up to, let's see where we're at. I'm getting close to 800 subscribers, and it's going up. 785, so I'm 15 short. So maybe by the end of the week I can pick up to 800 subscribers. That would be, I will tell you that I'm absolutely amazed. I went, because I don't really advertise my channel a lot. I get so much flack in the community for coming out here and trying to show people how to play just Ricky. And there are a ton of people out there who have really good clubs that have played the game for a while and play Ricky. And I'm just trying to fill that gap and give everybody content and give you options, even if you have lower developed clubs. I try and give you options as far as like different ways that you can come at it. And started off with just me and my buddy Scooby. So there was 2 of us, and I got to 10, and it seemed like, it was like in August, I was at 116. So, I mean, I'm going up like in between each tournament, it's about 50 viewers. So I'm really, really happy about it. it's amazing to me, and I appreciate every single person who watches the channel. And hopefully I'm helping you guys out, guys and gals out, and getting, maybe making your game a little bit better, at least giving you some options so that you know some different ways to come at the holes. But thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.